Jerritt, through 5 matches, you guys have seen 3 ranked teams. Where do you feel this team's at right now?
Yeah, the start of the season is always a little bit challenging for the coaching staff and the team to kind of get acclimated to what we're trying to do. With so few practices, there's about 20 to 30 systems that you're trying to get in place and also learn about the opponents. And, we've been trying to put them in extremely difficult situations. We did that the first weekend at Florida. And the one thing that happens when you're Texas is you really start outdrawing their averages. I think Florida averages around 2,000 fans, and we drew 7,500 fans that night. And I think San Diego draws 900 on average, and we had about 4,200 to 4,300 for that match. So different stress levels for our team. I think the first weekend put us in a good position to kind of respond in front of a big crowd. We were a little bit uncomfortable against San Diego the first game. They played extremely well, and then we just kind of settled down and played. So, you start looking at the numbers, you start looking at setter accuracy and what we're doing from an offensive standpoint, and the numbers just completely continue to grow, both on the offensive side and the defensive side, and much better rhythm with our pins. I think Ashley's starting to get really comfortable in the system. You can see her leadership and her development kind of growing, and the confidence kind of soothing out of her a little bit more, and obviously Lexi's starting to play at a high level and get comfortable as well. And then just the rest of the team is starting to figure out their roles and how we can utilize them and the different ways that we can be a strength with all of our balance.
You just mentioned Lexi. I mean, obviously National Player of the Year, you expect a lot of things, but as talented as you are, as deep as you are, did you expect her to be a tournament MVP this quick?
Well, you never know. You never know how they're going to acclimate to the college game and the speed of it. The great thing that happens when you recruit high-level athletes that have played a lot of international volleyball, they come in a little bit more acclimated. So she's come in. We've really been working on her out-of-system games when balls are off the net. We knew she would be good in-system, and that's where she really grew up this weekend. I thought her timing was much better. I thought the relationship between her and Ashley was much better, and she played at a very high level for us.
Coach, what about the home opening weekend this week? Some pretty good competition, notably Minnesota. What's it like to get home and get this thing started at Gregory?
Yeah, I mean, to come home is going to be really nice for our players. We've got 2 good opponents on Thursday, and a big one Thursday night with Denver. And then Friday, I think we're going to have Minnesota, who's going to be the #1 team in the country. So we need it sold out and to be rocking. I think this team deserves that. It should be a lot of fun. They'll be extremely balanced and well coached. I know Hugh, he was our national team coach, and has been to the Olympics and knows the game at a high level. So it'll be fun kind of playing that match and seeing kind of what the chess match is and seeing where our players are at for both teams. It's still early on, but I think I think he would agree it's a good matchup for both of us going into one more weekend of play.
Coach, Chiaco's looked really great as of late. How important is it to have your senior providing that much leadership for the team?
Yeah, it was a big key for us. We were struggling early against San Diego, and we really made an effort to kind of get her the ball on first ball swings and transition, and it just kind of opened up our offense. But her blocking numbers have been the one that's been most impressive. If you look at what our blocking numbers and our defensive numbers were for the week, I think we hit 399 on the week, and the opponents hit 030. So our blocking has become a very big part of our defensive scheme. We're blocking, I think last weekend was 4.2 blocks per game. So it puts pressure, a different mindset on opponents, and she's been doing a really nice job from that standpoint. And we're obviously thrilled to be able to have her back and playing at that level.
Coach, seeing the competition that happens in the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, how important is it for you guys to get a lot of this high-level competition early in the season?
Yeah, I think the biggest goal that you want is, the wins and losses will come and go. We know that we're going to be an NCAA tournament team. We're fighting, obviously, for a top 4 seed, but, how well can you schedule? One is for the RPI, but 2 is also to get your team mature enough and uncomfortable in situations where things don't just easily flow. We could have easily scheduled matches where our team hasn't been tested yet, and we have been tested already twice or 3 times already, and it's been great from an emotional standpoint that we can go back and watch film and see the areas in terms of how we function with the stress around, and can we manage our game at a high level for consistent periods of time. So it's been great. We try to do that. I try to do that as a coach in terms of our scheduling. I'm not afraid of losses. I want to put them in some situations where we can learn through our numbers and continue to grow and develop. But there's still so much that this team has potentially. We're pretty basic in our offense right now, but we can afford to be that because of the level of play. But there's some things that we can add to it. There's some things that we can do from the defensive side as well, and we'll keep adding those components as the season goes along.
Jerritt, up your freshman, Ashley was the last one to get to campus, but how has she come along as far as developing relationships and like on-court rapport with her teammates, considering the position she plays?
Yeah, Ashley comes from a very, arguably one of the best clubs in the country in sports performance, and they train at extremely high level, and they've got coaches that know the game at a very high level. And so from the emotional standpoint, the understanding of the game, she's coming at an elite level. She's not a true freshman in terms of the dialogue that we can have from player to coach. She's very serious, but she's relaxed and she's composed, and I think her ability to communicate with the players is excellent. When she was younger, she got moved up to the 18s team at a really young age and had to kind of deal with dealing with a more mature player, and so we talked about that a couple years ago when she committed, that she would be in the same situation. And she is now, her communication, she tells the players what she wants. If she misses a ball, she knows exactly why she missed it and gives them that feedback. And the amazing thing is just talking to the upperclassmen of how much trust they have in her and how much they enjoy playing with her because she knows what she's doing, and it gives them confidence in their play.
Going back to something you said earlier about your attendance numbers on the road, Florida and San Diego, and then obviously next week at A&M, you guys will draw well. But is that what you expected when you schedule these matches? Is that just kind of a byproduct just this year?
Well, I think regardless of where we go, the attendance doubles, triples, or quadruples from their home attendance, just because of the name on the chest or on the back of the jersey that our players wear, and the history that we've had. And it gives us, it makes it tougher for us because we've got to be up every single night because we get everybody's A game, but it also makes us more mature, and our ability to kind of grow as a team throughout the season continues because of the level of focus that we have to have night in, night out. And you've seen in the past, when we haven't had that, we lose. So there's no nights off if you're a Texas player.
Coach, I know Minnesota was a team in the Final Four. How much do they return, and how are they looking?
Yeah, there have been the last two Final Fours. They return, they lose the Tap sisters that are really good. They lose the Player of the Year and outside hitter, but they have a great recruiting class. They have an opposite in Samity that's putting up big numbers. They've got Jasmine, who's an elite athlete, was a basketball player that has turned into a really good volleyball player, and they have a middle blocker that will be stepping in that I coach with the junior national team that is very efficient and very competitive. And then they get the rest of their team back. The Big Ten setter of the year, they got their libero back, who's very good. This team is balanced, and so it'll give us some. We'll learn a little bit more as we get film, but it's what you expect and what you want to be. Like, I'm sure Hugh wants to be in this match. It's why he scheduled it, and it's why we scheduled it, because it's good for our team to kind of get uncomfortable, and it'll be a good balance from both sides, and it'll be a lot of fun. And we just hope the fans of Austin come out and sell this out. I think there's a little less than 1,000 seats left, so we need that to fill up and be rocking.
Anything else, guys?
Coach, the trip to California, which I gather through a fair number of the Texas team, including yourself, was a trip home. How was it?
Going back to California is always nice. It was a little hot. I think we brought the Texas weather there, but it was a good trip. We had a nice dinner at the Sun's house with our whole team, and just kind of get to spend some quality time with them. But it's the way the schedule was. It allowed us to have some time. It also allowed us to have our players have some time with their families, which is a little bit rare because we played 2 on Friday. 2 on Saturday and only 1 Friday, and it was really early. So it was a good trip. I think they got some time to spend together. We obviously bring our strength coach, and we got to do some conditioning based on the new rules with the players having to have a day off, and that's today. So we had to do a little bit yesterday with him. But it was a good trip. Always nice to be home. Always nice to see family, and but I'm also really excited to be back home and for the first time. We've been on the road a lot.